Right now, I'm going to tell you a secret about myself. At age 12, I really liked Hiro Hamada from Big Hero 6. I wanted to express all the built-up emotions I felt towards this character, and I turned to writing fan fiction. Let me read you an excerpt from it. Mind you, it's really the words of a 12-year-old. Here goes. I looked at him, he looked at me. How did I never notice how cute his messy jet black hair was? How did I never notice his piercing brown eyes? I'll save you from the rest of it. Take my word for it, it's worse. When I had told my friends about this particular piece of writing, they all laughed and cringed in a sympathetic, it's okay, we all make mistakes sort of way. And sure, I laughed and cringed along with them, poking fun at lines that left much to be desired. However, part of me felt as though I was doing 12-year-old me a disservice. I could almost picture her in my head, looking at me with pitifully sad eyes, disappointed that future her was so judgmental of herself, so harsh on a 12-year-old girl who was really just trying to express herself. Throughout my life, I've always loved expressing myself. Whether through music or writing or just talking to someone, taking a part of myself and infusing it into the world around me has been something that I loved doing. However, I've always felt an incredibly strong connection with writing. At a young age, we're taught our ABCs and how they create words, but each person interprets those words in a different manner. Though we all have access to basic vocabulary, we all choose different ways to express ourselves using those same set of words. And whenever I write, it's as though all of my troubles are liberated onto paper, in the form of a simple short story or pretty poem. In school, we're taught structure and format as a basis for how to write, and at first, they're incredibly useful. They help set the foundation of writing and allow students to practice different techniques in a safe environment. However, I found these rules and structures to be stifling after learning how to use all these techniques. Take a diary, for example. When I was young, I was taught that all diary entries had the same format. Start with, Dear Diary, talk about whether the day was good or bad, etc. That mentality trapped me into ultimately not keeping a diary at all due to how boring I found that structure to be. I had completely missed the point though. The beauty of writing comes from being able to express yourself freely. You don't have to follow a certain format because the whole purpose of having a diary is to be able to express yourself in a way that you can't around other people. It's a place where you can keep your deepest fears, your darkest secrets, or even just what you had for lunch. Writing is an amazing way of expressing yourself simply because of how absolutely free it is. Once in a while, we should be able to take a breather from rules and structure and learn to be a bit more free. Going back to my fan fiction from when I was 12, the first thing I would like to admit is that I'm actually really impressed. It takes a lot of courage to write anything, really, because what goes into a piece of writing is a part of the writer, at least for me. Whenever I write, I'll pour my heart and soul into every word. And when I show anyone my work, I hope that they don't tear it apart, because if they do, it feels as though they are tearing me apart in an odd, convoluted way. As I watch their eyes travel across the screen, I can feel myself slowly being pulled and stretched apart. I care a lot about what they think. Whenever I choose to show someone something I wrote, it's either because I'm really proud of it and want to watch whoever reading my work's eyes light up and hear their praises, or because I want to share a part of myself with the person. It takes a lot of courage to be able to share what one has written, and I find myself doing it less and less. I used to show all the silly stories I wrote to everyone, but now all these pieces of self-expression are much more private, only revealed to my closest friends. Is this because I have more to hide as a 15-year-old? Or is it because of the risk of shame that comes along with exposing one's own writing? The fear of judgment is what limits creativity, and I think that's the main difference between my old and current writing. My old writing lacked fear. The naivety that came along with youth helped my writing, making it more creative and breaking barriers that I didn't even know existed. The beauty of writing is more stifled now, not as free. And I'm sure there are others who feel just as I do, trapped in a writer's block where everything written has to be good, where writing is no longer something used for self-expression, but rather for something to just be good at. I'm proud that 12-year-old me had a goal and achieved that goal. I'm proud that 12-year-old me learned how to express her feelings in a more or less healthy way. I'm proud that 12-year-old me had fun and enjoyed a piece of media in her own way. Now, if everyone could be like 12-year-old Kiara and let the people around them be 12-year-old Kiara, free to express their enjoyment of writing without fear of being mocked, wouldn't that just be amazing? There is such an importance in self-expression and having healthy outlets for it. I'm sure there are tons of people who are too scared to express themselves or to show others their work. I am too. But understanding the beauty and value of writing is the first step to get rid of all the shame that comes with it. Sometimes, we should take a breather from the structures and formats of writing. Let's be a little rebellious once in a while. Just pretend you're 12 and start expressing yourself.